Hello guys, this is Kelly here again and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So let's get on with it. This week we are creating a small apartment building in Windenburg. So this is naturally, as you can tell, this is not an apartment, not an actual apartment building, and it's not in San Myshuno. It's not going to be exactly usable in terms of having just one sim live in one apartment. So this is basically just a big lot that I created because first of all I really wanted to do something that looked like an apartment building. It does have kind of this I guess Brooklyn feel to it. I'm not exactly sure. It's what I get as vibes when I look at it. And I wanted something that I could use for my Let's Play. So, just by the way, I decided I'm going to be doing a Let's Play. And I actually do have a couple of episodes recorded. But honestly, I'm really, not sure yet if I should upload it to this channel. So if you are interested in seeing what the Let's Play is about, do comment down below. And if there's, enough traction on it, maybe I could actually upload it and see where it goes. Because I do have an idea that I actually really like about my Let's Play. It's a household of 4 Sims at the moment that I actually played with on my own some time ago. And I decided to recreate them for this particular reason. Now, this apartment building, the idea behind it was to have those 4 Sims. They're, the 4 Sims in the household that are actually 3 separate. They're kind of like a merged 3 separate households, and I kind of merged them together. So the idea was to have this apartment building have one of the Sims live in one of the apartments, another 2 live in another apartment, and sort of like a whole Friends situation, the TV show. So that's what I was going for. That's why I created this. There is a problem in terms of the living situation where your Sims will be living in their own kind of apartments, but if you don't lock the doors, the other members of the household will constantly walk into their house, eat their food, or use their dishwasher. So that was a bit annoying. So I did lock all of the doors. The only door that I couldn't lock was the one with the 2 members of the household live, because there are 2 and I can't lock the door for I can either lock it for all the household members or unlock it for just one. So that was a bit of a problem. And if you decide to download this lot and play with your household and you have the same idea to use this as, do bear in mind that that is what happens if you don't lock your doors. But if you lock them, everything is fine. And I was able to somewhat get them to behave normally and not walk into each other's apartments uninvited. So yeah, the apartment itself, this part that I've uploaded, it's only the exterior and the build itself. There's no interior design. There's no furnishing on the inside, only on the outside. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to upload the Let's Play just yet. That is why I have left the building empty for now. It is on the gallery if you decide to play with it, and it is in 2 versions. So one of the versions has all 3 apartments that I do use in my Let's Play. It has those 3 apartments already furnished, and the other version does not have furnishing. It's just this what you're going to see in the video. And the reason I uploaded both versions is because if you decide to play with it, it would be easier for you to just download the unfurnished version and kind of make your own layouts of the apartments and furnish it on the inside. So if you do download it and if you do furnish your own apartment, I would love to see what you guys did. So feel free to follow me on Twitter, and you can send me in a private message or tweet to me pictures of what you did with this build. That I think that would be amazing. So yeah, so this is basically what the shape of the apartment building is. Like I said, it's in 2 versions. The second version does have a couple of furnished apartments. The way you can find this build on the gallery is you can search either for kaliBuilds or small apartment building. If you search for the small apartment building, you're going to end up finding the one that is actually furnished. So if you search through kaliBuilds as a hashtag or an ID name, you will be able to see both just because there was no room to type in small apartment building unfurnished as a title because it's a bit too long. So it is a small APT building. It's kind of long. I'm going to link both of them, both of the names down below in the description bar, just so you can, if you want to find the unfurnished building, you would know what to type in your gallery search bar so you can find it. So I really wanted to build this in a city where, in a neighborhood where it would make sense to have a building like this. And I thought that Winterborg was the perfect one. At first I thought maybe San Myshuno, but honestly, when I looked at it, it's a very urban, naturally it's an urban neighborhood. I forgot the word for a second. It's a very urban neighborhood, and it didn't exactly fit in. It didn't exactly fit in, so that is why I decided to build it in Windenburg. And if you see in the background, there are a few lots that kind of resemble this apartment building feel and look to it. The style is completely different, but it still feels like it fits in with the little bricks and just the city feel to it. So where I live, I've mentioned this before, I actually live in Bulgaria, and where I live in Sofia, we actually mostly have apartment buildings. So there's a lot of houses as well, but they're mostly on the outskirts, maybe outside of town and stuff like that. There's very few actual houses, and I've seen very few houses. I've been to very few houses in the city, that is. So I am more used to seeing apartment buildings and how flats and apartments are usually have their layout and how they are furnished. So for me, it's a lot easier to build something like this. It took me very little time. I had a very clear idea of what I wanted. The only thing I struggled with was just the size of it, because I didn't want to create it in a huge lot. I wanted it to be in this lot, and I did have this little sidewalk on the edges of the lot, which took out 4 spaces, two squares on each side, and kind of limited the size of my building altogether. So that's something that I kind of struggle with, maybe the size and figuring out how I should put everything in a way that's not exactly too cluttered and too squished together. But I did manage to make it work. The only thing is the apartments on the inside are a little bit small in scale. So they are, for instance, something that you would probably start out as in your sim game in an apartment, not exactly the luxury penthouse kind of apartments. The only apartment that I left bigger was the one on the last floor, having the idea to keep it as a penthouse in a way and have it a lot bigger because it does house 2 sims as well. So on the outside, the landscaping is very minimal. It's only around the edges. There's I think 1 or 2 trees just to decorate. I try to keep it very simple, put together, and clean. I think that's basically about it about the build. I did have the idea to have each apartment have its own terrace, but at the end, like the first floor that you see right here, right next to the entrance, for me, it seemed very dangerous, to be honest. It seemed very dangerous to have a open balcony and a terrace or a door altogether. Just because if you live in an apartment building and if you've ever lived on the first floor or on the second floor, if it was not a very high apartment building, you would know that it's very easy to climb into somebody's apartment through their balcony or through their window. You can do it if there's only a window there, but having a balcony with the door just seemed very dangerous, at least for me. So that is why the first floor apartments do not have a terrace, just because they're so close to the ground. Sorry, choked there a little bit on my own air. So yeah, they seem very, I guess, yeah, in danger in a way. Not that you can get into the apartment through the window, but still. And oh my god, guys, story time. Just quickly wanted to mention something because I was utterly shocked when this happened. And as I was bidding this was all that I could think of. So I have relatives in Israel, and I have my grandparents live there. I have some of their relatives there, and I've actually visited a couple of times as well. So they have where they live, where my grandparents live in Tel Aviv. They have these kind of not too high apartment buildings, kind of like this one, completely different style, but they. One of my aunts actually lives on the second floor, which it's pretty high, to be honest. It's not that low, it's not that accessible, but I heard a story that made my spine chill. So my aunt was at home very late at night. She went to bed. It was, I guess, 12 a.m. or something. So she goes to bed and she falls asleep. And at some point during the night, someone breaks into her apartment through her balcony on the second floor. So they break in. It was a young guy breaks into her apartment and starts stealing stuff. But for some reason, which is completely unknown to me and her and everyone involved, I don't know, maybe he felt sick or something, but he fell asleep next to her on her bed. While she was sleeping, while he was robbing her house, he fell asleep in her bed. What the actual fudge? Because I don't want to swear here, but can you believe this? I was so shocked when I heard that story. So what happens is he breaks in, he falls asleep, she wakes up during the night because of his snoring. She realizes that there's somebody in her house and somebody in the room next to her, and she wakes up, she starts screaming the hell out. She starts freaking out. He starts freaking out, and he starts calming her down. He's like, it's okay, it's fine, I'm gonna leave. And so he leaves through the window from where he came, and she calls the police. She starts explaining what happened. They come over, they see what happened. They didn't catch him, but it was such a ridiculous story, at least for me. It was, at the same time, it was very, very frightening to know that somebody can break into your house, but to have them sleep next to you on your bed? I mean, that's insane. I've never heard anything like this. It's just insane. It kind of reminded me, if you guys remember, the whole, gosh, what was his name? The guy with the funny news show interview where the home invader, I think that they made a meme and a song out of it. And it kind of reminded me of that whole situation. Just they coming through their windows. So hide your kids, hide your wife. You remember that? You gotta remember that. It was epic. So yeah, it kind of reminded me as a situation exactly of that. But comment down below what you think of this whole scenario. I was utterly shocked. So was she. She was very scared. She did not want to sleep in her apartment alone. After that, she upped her security, and she actually she closed off her balcony, so there's no way that you can get in through the terrace. So yeah, so that was my quick story, I guess. Hope you guys, I don't know, found it interesting, at least a little bit. Comment down below what you guys think. I would love to know what you think both of the story and this little apartment building that I have created here. We are about to get into the screenshot soon. This is, like I said, it was a very quick build. I don't know how it turned out so quick, honestly, because usually when I build something simple, it takes me like 6 or 7 hours. At least the last few videos that I created always took me very long, so I had to split them into different videos. But this one was really fast, and I had a very clear idea of what I wanted and how it turned out, and it just turned out really cute. At least I think so. I don't know, I would love to live in an apartment building like this. Maybe not the first floor, but definitely would love to live in an apartment building like this. My actual apartment where I live right now is it's not that big. It's kind of similar to what we have on the second floor. It's like I said, it's very small apartment. It has very small apartments. The first floor does not have balconies, but it does have these big windows that are kind of covered up by plants. I wanted to give a bit more privacy and have it a bit, I guess, harder for people to go up to the window on the first floor. I think that was very important for me as I was building this, and you can understand why, thanks to my story just before this. And I did end up putting some planters on each of the windows, like little potted plants, which I think gave it a very, I don't know, I think it looks very cutesy and kind of put together as a whole, as a building. I don't know, I really like it, and the screenshots turned out really cool. Comment down below if you'd like to download it. Links in the description down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, again, links down below. And thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.